Hello and welcome to this video. Well, it was supposed to be a build video because I was building a small server, as you can see here. But something went wrong and the video got messed up. Yeah, so that footage was basically lost. So I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do then? And the server was built and fully functional, but and as you can see, I built the server with one of these embedded motherboards, which has a small embedded CPU. And it actually worked quite nicely. Not really any issues with it. But I did have a performance issue in a specific task where there's like a high amount of I/O onto the drives because I'm running RAID. Sometimes it had a bit of difficulties handling that. So I thought, well, let's do something different then. So this is the Intel board with an embedded CPU in it, and then there is two 4 GB sticks of for a total of 8 GB. And then I have this RAID card, which has two SAS ports where each can take 4 SATA cables, so each can handle 4 drives. So I can connect a total of 8 drives to it. I'm not planning on doing that. That's just for information. And it has actually been working quite nicely. The cool thing about these embedded boards is that you don't really need a lot of air to keep it going. As it is right now, if the CPU utilization is around 80%, it'll get around 61 degrees or something like that, as it is now. So it's almost impossible to overheat them. So what I thought I would do is that this board was basically perfect for the task I was supposed to do. Almost. It's almost perfect. If just it was like 10% faster or something like that, that would have been great. But it's not. So I had to do something different. And that's where I came up with this. This is well, it's an AMD CPU, but I was trying to, here you go. This is a 200 GE. So this is also 4 threads, 2 cores, 4 threads. As this one is, this is not, this is 4 cores, 4 threads. But this is a 10-watt system. This is a 55-watt system. So this CPU will be significantly more powerful than this. So this should be more than enough for the task that I need to do. And this CPU even comes, there's a cooler in this box, believe it or not, but there actually is. I mean, it's so small. But I have a desktop system with a Ryzen 5 2600X in it, and I have this stock cooler that I never got around using because I have a Noctua on mine. So I thought, well, I'm gonna take this tiny CPU, put it in, new motherboard, and then I'm gonna use this cooler here because that means, I mean, if you look at the size of this cooler, look how small it is. I can try and take it out. But yeah, I mean, you get it. It's like super small compared to this. So yeah, so I was thinking, one of the reasons I built this system as I did is because I wanted it to be somewhat really silent. And I think I can do this with this, because instead of using this cooler, I'm going to use this one instead, which is much bigger. And then I'm just going to run the fan at a really low RPM, just enough to let a slight breeze over the fins, because that's probably good enough. The system is running as a file server, but I do run it as an internet-based server, so there is connections from outside. And even though that I'm running some RAID zeros, etc., this chipset here is sometimes a bit too slow to handle the amount of access to the drives. So if you are not doing any of that, but you just want a small motherboard in a small fanless case that's absolutely silent, you just want to connect it to a TV or something like that, something like this is perfect. Yeah, I'm having my phone in my hand, so the recording is not perfect, but yeah, so this is a small update on the video that didn't happen, but was supposed to happen. Now I'm gonna switch some of the hardware and I'll catch with you later. Okay, so small update. I'm about halfway through. So here you see the old board. Now you can get a bit up closer. So it's using sodium RAM, and then you have this small heatsink that, yeah, no fans, no nothing. It's completely quiet. But remember, it's only a 10-watt system. It's 4 cores, 4 threads, 2.4 gigahertz, but it's just 10 watts. So now we're moving up to this, which I just have to say was a bit of a bitch to assemble, because as you can see right here, there's not a lot of space, and as you can see here, the motherboard goes past the fan, so I could just barely not get it past the fan, so I had to take out the case fan to get the motherboard in. But as it looks now, it's perfect. I'm just putting in the RAM, put in one, need the other one. Doing the last assembly, and well, yeah, should be about 10 minutes or something. I'm not gonna plug in the whole system from the get-go. I'm just gonna start with the boot drive, and then I'm gonna hook it up to a monitor. Yeah, just, you know, update the BIOS, set the correct settings, and make sure it boots into the OS, and then hook all up the rest of the drives. Okay, so catch you in a minute. The machine is running. I'm just doing an BIOS update because, well, just wanted it to be everything be totally up to date before plugging everything in. It's running, but I was a bit worried at the beginning because I got it started and it was not posting on the monitor, and I was like trying different HDMI cables, and I don't know if the monitor is just a bit stupid or something like that, but it took like 2 or 3 minutes, and then bam, it suddenly was there. I'm not quite sure what happened. That was a bit weird. Maybe a loose connection in one of the HDMI cables or something. Maybe it was me unplugging and plugging back in too quickly. The monitor not being able to register it fast enough. I don't know, but it's running now. So yeah, that was just a tiny update. I'm not gonna have you look at this because that's pretty boring and time consuming. So catch you in a bit. It's alive! Oh yeah. Very good, very good. And I did spend some time on cable managing. If I have to say so myself, I think it looks alright. It's tight, but it's good enough. Well, be right back. Okay, so everything is running. It's installing some drivers and everything is running. And listen. Listen how quiet that is. Basically, the most loud thing in the whole computer is the mechanical hard drives. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty silent. I will show you again when I put on the case because it really helps, but yeah, it's just nice. Okay, so I just disconnected everything, doing just a few touches on it. Everything seems to be perfect now. I know there is not a lot of light. Wait a second. I can use this. Oh, maybe. That's not a lot. There we go. That's better. So this is an AMD. It's the 200GE CPU, and I lied before. Completely lied. I said it was a 55-watt CPU, and it's not. It's a 35-watt CPU, and The main fan here, it's right now is running at about 1200 RPM, so it's almost inaudible. And then we got two 4 GB DDR4 sticks, and then we got the small fan over here, which is also a custom add-on. On this RAID card there is no fan, so I bought this small one here. Let me just turn that. It's a G-Lit Solution Silent 4, and I basically just put on some double-sided grit tape and put it on. And I set it to run at about 1600 RPM. So whenever the RAID card is actually doing work and it's getting a bit hotter, the fan will keep everything nice and cool. Yeah, I think that's about it. Gonna pack it up, connect it, and I'll show you how it sounds. Okay, so this is where it's gonna sit, in a closet, and I just connected the Ethernet and the power cable. And now I know it's a bit dusty, but I wasn't planning on doing cleaning right now. That could be for later, so that should be good. Let's power it on. That's the initial fan. Now you hear it quiets down. And now basically you can't hear it anymore. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. There's a fan controller on the back of this case, and I just put it on the middle setting because the mechanical hard drives are still louder than the fans, so that should be okay. I'm a bit worried about that hard drive light because that seems to be continuously on. Oh no, it's blinking. Okay. I was just, for a second there, I was thinking that maybe I switched the connectors. I hate that so much. I really hate that. You have to disassemble half a computer because of those tiny freaking super annoying motherboard light connectors. I mean, why don't they just make like one standard plug that has all of them just connected in one plug instead of this? I just hate it. Well, basically that was it. That was just me updating some hardware in my small file server. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.